How do I explain this in a really simple way? I woke up, needed to go to the bathroom, and I literally just burst into tears because that would have freaked me out. Based on the stuff that we've seen on TV, who would have thought that being happy and relaxed would help your labour? And also you don't know what to expect. And it was COVID. Just editing the video, and something that I forgot to mention in the original filming process is that a lot of the time, home births are discouraged by family and friends. In certain situations where you may be high risk, I totally understand that you're going to need to be on a labour ward where you can have that extra care and extra monitoring. However, in low risk situations, regardless of what friends and family might say to you, make sure that you, and if you have a birth partner, speak to your midwives, speak to your healthcare providers, because at the end of the day, it is your baby, it is your body, it is your birth, and it is your choice. Not a lot of people were, you know, jumping for joy when we mentioned potentially having a home birth, and I totally get why. It sounds scary and it sounds intimidating, but when we spoke to the midwives, they were really encouraging and they said that it would be a great idea. So we were able to make our decision based on fact rather than fear. And if you are thinking about having a home birth, check out the NICE guidelines, NICE. You can see the rates of intervention and other quote unquote bad things that could happen during a home birth on those guidelines, and I'll put more information in the caption, but I think you'll be pleasantly surprised with what you see. Hi friends, today's video is going to be a bit different. It's going to be a bit longer form because I am going to speak about my birth experience, and I've been kind of going back and forth with this idea for like literally two and a half years. Because if you're Punjabi, you'll know. If you're South Asian, you'll probably know as well. Speaking about like birth, pregnancy, postpartum, it's just not something we do. In general, like birth is a really intimate thing. But the reason I was able to kind of have a home birth and a really positive birth experience was because of my like non-Punjabi friends being so open about their birth experience and the resources that they used and like the information that they had. And I feel like if we do speak about it a bit more, you know, we'll be able to have more positive experiences. The more I speak to Punjabi people these days, the more I'm starting to kind of see that it's quite unanimous that like birth and postpartum can be quite traumatic and negative. And the more I speak to my elders who are like, you know, 1 or 2 generations older than me, so maybe my mum's generation and my grandparents' generation, I'm kind of starting to see that their experiences weren't so negative. So there's a big disconnect, and I'm doing some research at the moment to kind of try and figure out why. But this video is purely going to be based on my experience and my home birth. And if, you know, someone is watching this, maybe it will change their idea of what birth is and maybe give them a bit more of a positive mindset or a positive outlook about what birth can be. Let me start by saying that I had a home birth in June 2020. So this was during the pandemic. And my positive birth experience was not because I had a home birth with, you know, no intervention. That is just the experience that I had, but that doesn't mean that that's the only experience that can be positive. You can have, you know, a C-section and have it be a really positive experience. You can have, you know, any kind of intervention, epidural, gas and air, like you might need stitches after. It can all be a positive experience. It's all about like your mindset and the control that you kind of have in the moment. But that's kind of, yeah, we'll talk about that a bit more in depth. But I just wanted to preface that. I don't want anyone here who maybe, you know, had a C-section or had like a different experience to mine to be like, oh my God, I failed. Like it doesn't mean that at all. My experience is my experience, and it was that way for a reason. So let's just get into the actual birth story itself. One thing that I forgot to say as well, before I gave birth, I watched lots of positive birth videos, because like from when we're young, when you're watching TV, films, TV shows, whatever, they always depict birth in like this really negative way of like a woman lying on her back and pushing and like being in lots of pain and shouting at her partner and shouting at the doctors and just being really aggressive. And it means that a lot of us grow up like really scared of childbirth. Like I know, I definitely was. So I watched lots of positive birth story videos on YouTube. All of the videos that I watched were from white women, and as great as they were, like they really did help me to kind of reshape my mindset about what birth can look like. If there was someone who looked like me, it just would have made it so much different. I was so scared. So like I said, I gave birth in June 2020. I was so scared because of COVID. I was scared you know, I was having some irrational thoughts, I guess. Back then they seemed pretty normal. Like I was scared to leave the house because I was like, I'm gonna die, the baby's gonna die, like, oh my god, I can't, you know, do anything. They were quite debilitating. So those positive birth stories that I did watch, they made such a huge difference, because I was like, okay, I can do this. Like if this many people can do this, I can do this. Like, you know, it's gonna be okay. Oh, also, I was very low risk in my pregnancy. I had no issues, no complications. So that is why the midwife said that it's completely safe for me to have a home birth. COVID kind of pushed us more in the direction of having a home birth, because if I was to go into the birth centre or the labour ward, my birth partner, my husband, wouldn't have been able to come with me. And going into birth, especially for the first time, going into labour for the first time, it was quite daunting for me. I don't think I would have been able to do it without the support of my husband. So that's another reason why. We'd kind of already made our mind up, but those kind of restrictions around who was allowed to be with you kind of was like, yes, okay, we've definitely made the right decision. So let's see. This is going to be a bit like disjointed, and I'm going to try and keep it short because I don't have any notes, and it was 2.5 years ago. So the night before I went into labour at like 1 or 2 in the morning, yeah? So the night before, the evening before, I was with one of my best friends, and we were having dinner, and I just remember laughing loads, like cracking up, and I'm pretty sure that got some endorphins and some oxytocin going. Oxytocin is a hormone that kind of kickstarts labour. So when you're really happy and relaxed, when oxytocin is flowing in your body, it induces labour. Who knew, right? Based on the stuff that we've seen on TV, who would have thought that being happy and relaxed would help your labour? But it really does. We did a hypnobirthing course with the Positive Birth Company, and that is literally like, I watched that every single day for like 7 months, because I really, you know, wanted to absorb the information and change my mindset around birth. I didn't listen to anyone's negative stories about birth. If they started talking, I would literally just switch off. I didn't watch any negative birth stories. I just really kind of filled my mind with positive birth stories and hypnobirthing techniques, which really helped. Like the breathing, I did not think that breathing would like help through labour, but that is the only tool that I used to get through my labour. There was no epidural, no paracetamol, no gas and air. It was literally just breathing. Bearing in mind, this is the first time I'm giving birth, and people usually say it's the kind of the most difficult, because it's the first time your body's going through something so big, and also you don't know what to expect. And it was COVID, so there was a lot of things going on then. So yeah, evening before, really happy, was really focused. And that was one of the things that they said in hypnobirthing: make sure you focus on being happy, spending time with loved ones, eating food that you enjoy, watching TV that keeps you positive and happy. So that was really good, and I'm pretty sure that kickstarted my labour. So like 1 or 2 a.m. Also, this video is going to be a little bit gooey and like intimate, and like, you know, it is a birth story. So if you get freaked out, please click off the video now. Don't make any dumb comments, because you're the one that's clicked on a video called My Home Birth Story. So if you think this is weird and you don't want to listen to it, just click off. I'll give you a second to do that before I get to the next detail, which is, some people might be a bit weirded out by it. So just, yeah, click off. Right, and don't say I didn't warn you. So I woke up, needed to go to the bathroom, and my bloody show came out. So that's the mucus plug. It's the thing that's kind of holding everything in. And I literally just burst into tears, because I thought my water had broken. And in hypnobirthing, in the hypnobirthing course that I did, they basically say that if your water breaks, you have to go, like early in labour, you have to go into the labour ward so that your baby can be monitored. And I was like, oh no, I have to go to the labour ward and I'm going to be alone and my husband can't come with me. So I called up the hospital and I was just like, this is what I can see. And they were like, yeah, don't worry about it, it's just your mucus plug. Bye. And that was it. So it was a really dramatic start. But then my husband calmed me down and he was just like, there's nothing to worry about, it's just your mucus plug. We learned about this in hypnobirthing, so just chill. From that moment, I started to do my hypnobirthing breathing and the relaxation techniques that I learned through the course. So the breathing is basically you breathe in through your nose for 4 and out through your mouth for 8. And essentially that slows down your heart rate. it reduces adrenaline in the body, because adrenaline basically sends all the blood and energy to your arms and legs because you go into fight or flight mode. And that means that your body gets really tired. So instead of adrenaline in your body, you've got endorphins and oxytocin, and those hormones make you happy and relaxed. So doing that breathing was amazing, and I had done it, you know, every day up until the birth for like 6-7 months, like I said before. And oxytocin actually stores in your body as well. I still use this breathing technique before I go to sleep. It really helps my body relax, and it helps me go to sleep a bit quicker. Also use it when I'm feeling a bit anxious and just, you know, slows the heart rate down. It's a really good technique. So use that. I was also on my birthing ball, and I sat on that from like 6 months because firstly, any chair was just really uncomfortable, because you just got this massive bump in front of you. And it also helps the baby get into the right position. So that was great. So I got into some comfy clothes. I put my fluffy socks on, got on my birthing ball, started doing my breathing, and then I put my headphones on and put on my relaxation music and had an eye mask on, and I was just sitting there bouncing around on my ball, listening to all these like really familiar sounds. I listened to them throughout my pregnancy, and I did all the relaxation techniques. So everything was familiar basically. I wasn't trying to do anything new during labour, because that would have freaked me out. Whilst I'm doing this, my husband is timing the contractions, and then to be honest with you, I don't really remember much. All I know is that from about 1 or 2 a.m. till about 1 in the afternoon, I was in labour with a 2-hour active labour, which means that I went from the upstage to the downstage. How do I explain this in a really simple way? The upstage is basically the longest part of labour. Is when, okay, say your belly is here, all of your muscles are going up. So that is basically what contractions are, or surges, as they say in hypnobirthing, bit of a nicer word. So your surges are basically the discomfort that you may feel, is your kind of muscles going up. The more not relaxed and tense you are, the more kind of pain and discomfort you're going to feel. I have to be honest, I don't remember feeling much pain or discomfort, but towards the end of it, I was just exhausted. Other than that, it wasn't a painful experience. Like, it was chilling. Like I said, I don't remember it. I had no concept of time because I was that relaxed. I was just chilling on my ball, lying down, whatever. So during the upstage, your muscles are going up, and then during the downstage, they all push down to help baby come through the birth canal and come to this side of the world. So that side, when all the, you know, the contractions changed and the muscles were coming down, was literally 2 hours. It felt like 20 minutes though, I'm not gonna lie. So when you go into like this state of deep relaxation, I guess if you meditate, you'll probably know as well. I've never had this experience in my life, but I literally had no concept of time, didn't know where I was, and I didn't know what was going, like, I was just in the zone basically. That's the only way I can describe it. And going into that state of deep relaxation and really focusing on just that, you literally have, yeah, like I said, no concept of time. And I was drifting in and out of like different visualizations. Like one of them was like, I literally wasn't in the room. I was with one of my friends who lives in Canada, and I was going shopping with him, getting him ready for a date. Like, it was just so random. I was like, yeah, you need to buy these clothes, they'll look so nice. Like, and I was actually there, like, it was crazy. And then I came back and I was like, oh, okay, still in labor. Really strange. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah. So I just kept like going in and out of like, not consciousness, but just going to different places, and then coming back. It wasn't painful. It was a bit, okay, I'd say it was uncomfortable, and it was really tiring because the amount of time, like in that last half an hour, I remember just turning to the midwife and being like, how long is this going to take? And she just turned to me and was like, it's okay, go with your body. And I was just like, that's not what I want to hear right now. But they were really, really supportive, and they worked so well with my husband to kind of help me stay relaxed. When I had a bit of a wobble and I got a bit, you know, maybe agitated or angry, they all worked really hard to be like, you know, focus on your breathing, stay relaxed, you're doing a great job, like really positive and really nice about it. And that really helped, because whenever I had a wobble, my husband would be like, okay, he'd bring me back down to like, you know, what's going on, focus on your breathing, it's all good, like really encouraging and really positive words of like, you know, positive affirmations and stuff like that, things that we had gone through. He was just really encouraging, and that helped to keep me really calm. And that's like the key thing with being in labor, staying really calm, and doing your relaxation techniques, whatever they may be. But that breathing is just incredible. Like, it's a life skill. It's not even just for labor. Like I said, I still use it and it's amazing. Oh, we also had essential oils going just to make the smell really relaxing. We had lavender. Lavender is something that doesn't really interfere with birth, so that was fine. The midwife said that's okay. Make sure you check before you start putting essential oils on, because some of them can interact with labor. So just check if you're going to use essential oils. Make sure that we were kind of like not controlling, but like we're thinking about the 5 senses. Oh, taste as well. So we had like little chocolate buttons and coconut water, because it's got lots of electrolytes, so to keep me energized and also hydrated. And crisps, like things that were easy to eat. Like, you're not really going to want to eat like a burger and chips in labor. You're going to want small things that are going to be tasty to you that you can just eat easily. So whenever I'd be like, oh my god, I'm so tired, my husband would just pop like a little chocolate button or a crisp in my mouth, and then it was like, okay, cool, let me just focus on eating this now. And that also helped to keep me energized. In the beginning stages of labor, I was eating like grapes and bananas, and I had a bit of peanut butter toast. And then towards the end, it was more just like small chocolates and just small things that you can just quickly eat and not get distracted from the relaxation and the breathing techniques. I also had a fluffy like gumball, like a fluffy quilt or duvet, I think that's the right word. And I was just kind of like lying on that and holding on to it and like kind of feeling it whilst I was doing my breathing. So yeah, that was the 5 senses. The hearing was the relaxing music that I had in my headphones. The sight, I literally just had my eye mask on, so I wasn't focused on like all the stuff that was going on around me. The smell, we had essential oils. The taste, I was eating just things that I enjoyed. And then the feeling was that really soft rajai quilt thing that I was holding on to whilst doing the breathing. So those are things that you can implement as well. Again, like I said, I've said it like a billion times in this video, it's all about just keeping your body relaxed with familiar things, you know, familiar pillows, familiar smells, familiar objects, like whatever it is. You can even watch a TV show or like a film that you find really funny and you've enjoyed like for a long time, and something that's predictable, like you know what's going to happen. You don't want like to watch TV and like have a shock. That would probably put you a bit off during your labor. I didn't watch TV, but I do remember my husband put on like relaxing like waves, like natural scenery and stuff. That was really nice to just focus on that for a few minutes. Like I said, it was all just a blur. His version of this might be very different, but for me, it was a very pleasant experience. And then by 1 in the afternoon, baby was born. And that was that. And it happened so quickly. We even had a birth pool in my bedroom. I didn't even get a chance to get in because the birth just happened so quick. And the midwife said, you know, when you're so relaxed and you're so in the zone, it does happen quickly because of the hormones that you're producing, because of the oxytocin. It can, you know, happen quite quick. So yeah, 12 hours, I don't think that's long. And like I said, it wasn't painful, it was tiring and a bit uncomfortable towards the end. One thing that I did in the lead up to the birth was drink ghee in dod, and I think a lot of Punjabi women do this, and I know it sounds nasty, but it really helped. It really helped to basically everything. It makes everything soft in your body so that giving birth isn't, you know, too difficult. And there's lots of different things that, you know, my elders kind of told me to do, and I just listened to them. I was just like, yep, whatever you guys say, I'm gonna do it, because whenever they speak about their birth experiences, it was always just so chilling and positive. So I was like, okay, if they have had a positive experience, those are the people that I'm going to listen to. And honestly, hand on my heart, it made such a huge difference. And that is kind of the birth story. I know it's a bit like not very in-depth. Maybe I should record another one. But I just wanted to put this out there because, like I said, so many people have negative birth experiences and negative thoughts around birth. And I totally get why, because some people's experiences are negative, but it doesn't mean that everyone's has to be. If you do want to talk about, you know, a bit more in depth about my birth experience, literally just DM me. We can jump on a call and I can tell you a little bit more. Or if you have any questions about the resources that I used or the foods that I ate or anything like that, please get in touch, and I will literally help in any way that I can. Postpartum was a whole different bag of wild for me, and I'm not going to get into that because yeah, that's just a whole different conversation. But the birth experience itself was really, really positive, and I'm a firm believer of if I can have a positive birth experience, anyone can. And like I said, it's not because it was just a home birth and I was at home and I didn't have any intervention. It's nothing to do with that. It is because I felt like I was in control and I was making the decisions, and I learned all of that literally through hypnobirthing with the Positive Birth Company. The hypnobirthing course is called the Digital Pack. So yeah, you can still get that. And it's really affordable. You can do it in your own time. It's a self-paced course, and I cannot recommend it enough. If you are pregnant, or you know someone who is pregnant, it is a great gift to give them. I think I've covered the most important bits. Like I said, my husband's version might be really different, but hopefully it kind of gives you an idea of what birth can look like and how it can be a really positive experience, and hopefully it's changed your mind a little bit about birth. Like I said before, if you want to talk about this anymore, if you've got any questions about it, literally just drop me a DM and we can talk. And yeah, see you guys soon.